All right, we have some breaking news coming in. This is CNN News 18 exclusive. We're learning that one more has been killed in the Canadian gang war. According to intelligence input, Sukhdool Singh, alias Duneke, who's a gangster of the Davinder Bambiha gang from Moga, has been killed in Canada in an inter-gang rivalry. He went to Canada in 2017 on a forged passport. Now, the case has also been registered against Duneke, and Duneke has been aiding, funding, and strengthening the Davinder Bambiha gang in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, and Rajasthan. This is a big breaking input. It's a CNN News 18 exclusive. One more killed when it comes to Canadian gang war. This is according to intelligence inputs that have been received. Now, Sukhdool Singh, alias Sukha Duneke, who's a gangster of the Davinder Bambiha gang from Moga, has been killed in Canada in an inter-gang rivalry. He went to Canada in 2017 on a forged passport. This is another issue that's also going to be raised when it comes to what's taking place currently between two nations. The fact that this gangster was able to enter Canada back in 2017 with a forged passport. Now, the case has also been registered against Duneke, and Duneke had been aiding, funding, and strengthening the Davinder Bambiha gang. Those are the charges. And specifically, the gang was being strengthened in Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, and Rajasthan. That is the latest input that we're getting. This is a CNN News 18 exclusive, and this comes amid a diplomatic standoff between two nations, between India and Canada. We're crossing over to CNN News 18's Anand Narasimhan to get us more on this. Anand, we're getting a big development to this input. It's a CNN News 18 exclusive about one more being killed in the Canadian gang war. Tell us more about what we're getting.
Well, what we're given to understand is that this ban is linked with the Davinder Bambiha gang, which operates in Delhi, Haryana, Punjab in this region. Sukhdool Singh had actually moved to Canada on a forged passport after the authorities were on a massive hunt for him here. And in 2022, he was involved allegedly in trying to conspire and also plot the killing of a kabaddi player by the name of Sandeep Singh. And this happened in 2022. So clearly the authorities were, he was on the radar of the authorities, but what largely this indicates is that there is a lot of internecine fighting or rival gang war which is happening between elements in Canada, and these gangsters are rampant and these fights are very common. This is something that CNN News 18 has reported repeatedly, that there are huge gangster groups which are operating. We know that the Davinder Brar, Lawrence Bishnoi gang and the Bambiha gang, they had their huge gang rivalries which spilled over not just from India over on into Canada also in terms of who controls the operations. These are largely people who want control of certain businesses and also get involved in trafficking and also smuggling. And this is perhaps the result why these killings are happening. Even earlier in the case of Hardeep Nijjar, we have reported that he was openly threatening Ripudaman Malik, and Ripudaman's gang or Ripudaman supporters had vowed that they will avenge the killing of Ripudaman. And that's where the government sources are very clearly saying that this is an internecine or internal gang war or rivalry between gangs of elements, nefarious elements who have found haven or refuge in Canada after escaping the censure or the attention of authorities in India. And this cannot be blamed on Indian intelligence or an act by the Indian state. And this is something which the Trudeau administration is willing to not consider and is overlooking. And in fact, dossiers, letter rogatories, and intimations about the presence of these criminal elements and antisocial elements have been mentioned and have been shared with the Canadian authorities repeatedly. Even in the recent visit of the Canadian NSA, these informations had been shared, and it was a big list of people which has been given to him. And he had, the Canadian NSA had to come back and assured all cooperation, but none of this actually fructified. But it's turned out that Justin Trudeau has turned around and tried to blame India on credible allegations as a court in the House of Commons there or in the Canadian Parliament. Now, what are the Canadian authorities going to do about this? Now, this is gang rivalry that is playing out, and it is unfortunate that these people also align themselves with Khalistani elements just purely for profit. They all want to share the pie in control of businesses. Now, we just heard Jesse Singh chairman of Sikhs for America, saying that Judge Gurpatwant Panun runs an immigration business, and this whole game of political asylum, blaming India, is part of their entire business interests. And this is how they try and lure or give citizenship or asylum to people for people who are seeking to move or migrate and move out of India. Whatever be the reasons, this is how they circumvent the law, paint a false picture, and these people are then also under pressure from the likes of Panun and his associates over in America, or even such elements in Canada, to go ahead and perpetrate certain acts for which their continued stay in Canada is assured to them. So this is all larger part of profiteering and business, and nothing to do with the entire secessionist narrative, which they want everyone to believe that is really big. But it's unfortunate. Now this is the latest. This is another gangster, another wanted element who's now found dead in Canadian soil. Now, who are they going to blame? Are the investigation authorities actually going to get to the bottom of it? Because the killers of Ripudaman Singh, so far, despite eyewitnesses, have not yet been identified 2 years since his murder. But there is a lot of tears and agony and pain for a wanted criminal like Hardeep Nijjar.
Very valid points that you're raising, Anand. Thank you so much for joining us and bringing us those inputs. We're also